evening, everyone. As promised, this is the review video that I'm going to make in preparation for our summative one tomorrow. And this would focus on the integration of algebra into our topic parallel lines and transversal. So this is the first problem. On the figure, you can see once again this arrow here, which indicates that this line, so let's say this is line L and this is line M. This would mean that line L is parallel to line M. And in order for us to solve for x, first we need to find the relationship between the two angles. So this is 2x plus 3, plus 43 degrees and 2x minus 3 degrees. What is the relationship between the two angles? Okay, you're correct. They are same side interior angles. And when we talk about same side interior angles, we know that their sum is equal to 180, or we can say that they are supplementary. So the equation would actually revolve around the relationship. So that would be 2x plus 43 degrees plus 2x minus 3 degrees. And that would be equal to 180 degrees. So first, if we want to solve this, we have to get rid of our parentheses. So that would be 2x plus 43 plus 2x minus 3 equals 180. And if we combine all the x's on the left side, we are having 4x. And 43 minus 3 is a positive 40 equals 180 here. So the next thing we do is to transpose 40 to the other side. You have 4x equals 180 minus 40, which gives us, so let me just continue here on top, 4x equals 140. Then we divide this by 4. So that would be x equals, so 14 divided by 4 is 3. That would mean that there's a remainder of 2. 20 divided by 4 is 5. X is equal to 35. Now take note, you don't put a degree unit on 35 because this is not yet the angle that we're talking about. This is just the value of x. So if you want to find the angle, you have to substitute 35 to our given values in algebraic expression form. So if this is 2x, we're talking about that angle, 2x plus 43. If x is 35, it becomes 2 times 35 plus 43. So that angle is 70 plus 43 equals to 113 this time degrees. So that's the first angle. What would be the second angle? By now, I think you're already computing. You know that this should sum up to 180. So that would mean the angle would be 180 minus 113, which is, of course, equal to 67 degrees. But let's just check. So this would be 2 times 35 minus 3. That would mean 70 minus 3. And it's, yes, correct, 67 degrees. So we've checked already if these two angles is correct because the relationship at the onset is supplementary. Now, let's go to the second problem. You can pause this video for a while and then solve it. Make sure you finish it, you check it at the end, and then you resume the play mode of this video. Okay, so still the same process. We have to make sure we know the relationship of the two angles. So here, you know already that these two are parallel. So this is line, let's say M, and n. By the symbol here, we know that m is parallel to n. Therefore, these two angles would become alternate exterior angles. Alright? And the relationship is that alternate exterior angles are equal. So that would be 3y plus 53 equals to 7y minus 55. So if we're going to manipulate the equation, this would be transposed here. 3y goes to the other side. So this will be 53 plus 55 equals 7y minus 3y. So to continue, this would be 108 equals 4y. And we divide by 4 on both sides. Therefore, you have 2 and 708 divided by 4 is 27 equals y. Once again, we don't write the degree symbol as a unit for 27 because this is just the value of y. And if we want to find the angle, we have to substitute. Okay, so here, the first angle is 3y plus 53. And the second angle is 7y minus 55. To find the angle, we substitute. So 3y times 27 plus 53. So 27 times 3 is 81 plus 53. And this would result to 134 degrees. Now, even without solving the second angle, 7y minus 55, we know that this should also be 134 because remember our equation said that they are both equal. So, of course, they would have the same value. But just to check, we have to substitute. So, 7y times 27 minus 55. So let's just compute. 7 times 7 is 49. 7 times 2 is 14. That becomes 189 minus 55. And it's equal to 134 degrees. So by doing this, we can justify that our answer is indeed correct, or the value of y is indeed correct. It's the value that would make our alternate exterior angles equal because we know that the two lines are already parallel. Next problem here is you can see a plane figure. So if I ask you, for example, what kind of plane figure is this? Think. Okay, you can see four sides, and therefore this plane figure qualifies as a quadrilateral because there are four sides. But in terms of what is its specific name as a quadrilateral, this plane figure is actually called a parallelogram. I think you are familiar with this one. Parallelogram. Why is it called parallelogram? It's because the opposite sides of the parallelogram are parallel. So as you can see here, these sides, the red marks, they are parallel. And also the green marks, they're parallel. By making it tick marks, actually these two sides as well are congruent or equal. But we will not dwell into that because what we want here is to find the value of the angles and not the sides. But these are very basic properties of parallelograms that you will also learn as you go along with your study in geometry. So, we are given one angle, 54 degrees, and we are going to solve the remaining angles. So let me just name the angle. So let's say this is angle 1, or we can also say angle ADQ, or however you want to name that. It could be QDA. So we have to look for that angle. We have to look for angle 2 here, or angle DAU, or UAD. And we will look for angle 3. Now, how are we going to do that? So, imagine if we are going, let me just erase this one first. If we are going to extend the lines, say DA, if I'm extending DA and I'm extending QU, these two lines will, of course, become what? Parallel. And this line here can also be extended to form the transversal of line DA that is parallel to line QU. So its transversal now becomes line QD. Or if you want segment, since these are segments here, it could be okay as well. So, what would be the measure of angle 1? Given that DA is parallel to QU, and you have QD as its transversal, and one angle here is already 54 degrees. So first, let's find out what's the relationship of angle 1 to 54 degrees. Okay, you're correct. They are same side interior, which means to say 54 degrees here should be the supplement of angle 1. So angle 1, the measure is just simply 180 minus 54. So what would be the difference? So this would be 6 and this would be 2. 126 degrees is the measure of angle 1. Okay, so this is 126 degrees. How do we go now from angle 1 to angle 2 and angle 3? Now take note, take note that aside from DA being parallel to QU, another set of parallel lines would be DQ and parallel to line AU or segment AU for that matter, because these are again segments. So if I will extend this two lines here or two sides here, that would mean that they are parallel. And this segment here would form the transversal. It would now form the transversal. So I think I've erased also the angle. So this is angle 3. This is angle 2. And I can actually solve first for angle 3. What is the relationship of 54 degrees to angle 3? Yes, you're correct. Angle 3 and 54 degrees are also same side interior. And so this same thing will happen. 180 degrees minus 54, and it should also be equal to 126 degrees. That's for angle 3. So 126 here. And this is also 126 here. Now, what about angle 3 and angle 2? What's their relationship? So again, we refer to this parallel parts, and we can say that they are also correct. They are also same side interior. So that would mean measure of angle 2 is 180, but this time minus 126. So that would be 54 degrees. And we have completed it. Now, I'm not sure in your grade 6 if you were introduced already with the property of parallelograms, which state that the opposite angles of a parallelogram would always be equal. So in this case, as you can see, it's equal. What about here? They are equal. And this property of the parallelogram is based upon the concept of parallel lines and transversal. So this property you need to learn. You have to know by mind and by heart because you will be using it in the future. And the last problem, which I specifically chosen for all of us, is a problem that was featured earlier inside the class. in which we have to find a larger angle with the help of a third line parallel to two lines. So in this case, I want you to find this angle. Solve for the measure of angle, say CJE. At this point, pause the video and solve for the value of angle CJE or angle EJC, and later resume the viewing to see what would be the answer. Okay, so here you have to solve for this one. All right, but this angle is actually made up of two smaller angles. So I don't know if you can see that. Let's focus on the two smaller angles. So let's say this is angle 1, and let's say this is angle 2. So in order to get measure of angle CJE, we have to find the measure of angle 1 and find the measure of angle 2 and add them together, and you will form the measure of angle CJE. Okay, so first I'll ask you this question. Can you find the measure of angle 1 given in this figure that the green angle is equal to 71 degrees? The answer is a resounding yes, of course. What is the relationship of angle 1 and 71 degrees? Okay, so the key here is to somewhat extend this a little bit further down, and we can see that angle 1 and 71 degrees are actually alternate interior angles, and they are just equal. So which means to say angle 1 is 71 degrees. What about measure of angle 2? So here, the trick is we have to extend this a little bit further as well. Let me just erase the red one. All right. So here, extend it further down, and you will find that angle 2 is actually the alternate interior angle of the orange angle, 46 degrees. So this is also 46 degrees. And as we've said before, that in order to find the whole measure of angle CJE, we have to find angle 1 and add it to angle 2, and that would be the measure. So we add the two angles, so this would be 117 degrees is the measure of angle CJE. I hope you've learned something from this short discussion that I have, and hopefully now you're ready for our summative test for tomorrow. So once again, everyone,